Oops. Hi everybody. I'm the MoeChicken. That was Granfaloon. He dead. Or it dead. And I got health for it. I'll explain. So I came down here with the intention of, sort of doing some damage to him beforehand so you guys wouldn't have to watch me just bang away on him over and over again to get him weakened. And then I beat him. As you can see, I got the axe. Maria's axe is amazing. Compared to the other two, it's so useful to be able to throw like 3 axes for the price of 1. Super duper useful. And yeah, it just sort of tore through Granfaloon, so sorry. Anyway, ow, freaking oon. Freaking oon, I hate you. Meh. Good. Alright, so, yeah, I guess we'll just go on. Sorry about that. I goofed. I messed up. But yeah, at the end of the last episode, I was talking about, translation things, and, how various games have, sort of, you wouldn't call them translation quirks, but, little things that kind of relate to their to the process of translating. And one of the things that the author of that, or the author of many of the articles on that website, Mado, likes to talk about is how difficult it is to get like the context right. One of the books that they did on that website, which is one of the more entertaining books in my opinion, is called, I think it's called like Press Start to Translate. And the idea behind it is a, oh, I'm using Byakko, I didn't mean to. I actually just meant to use the Guardian Knuckle, but oops, Byakko happened. And nothing was left except his leg. That was interesting. Yes. The book is called Press Start to Translate, and apparently it was based on an idea that Mado had one time of how good are, like, online translation services. Because, I mean, online translation services are notoriously faulty in terms of getting things right, I guess you could say. I'm taking a lot of damage right here. I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna run. I'm gonna run away from both of you. Because you guys are beating the crap out of me and I don't have a whole lot of health. Yeah, I mean, online services are notoriously faulty in terms of getting context right. But the premise of the book basically is, one, you know, how good is a online translation of a game script, and two, completely just by serendipity, the author apparently, like, so to explain a little bit what he did, he took the entire game script of Final Fantasy IV. I'm almost dead. I don't like this. I want to get out of here. Run. Okay, I see you over there. I see you. I'm gonna kill you. I know that there's a save point not too far from here if I can just make it past all this. Okay, there we go. So he took the game script and basically ran it through Google Translate. And as you might expect, it came out a misguided mess. But what's cool is he did it twice, and completely by accident. The first translation attempt was done using the older model of the translator, and then between the two, Google implemented some sort of advanced AI translation algorithm, something to that effect, and which was supposed to be like, it was supposed to use like machine learning and be really effective and all these things. And so he was able to compare the way both translated, so both the original one and the AI fancy dancy one. And what he found for the most part is that while it's true that most of the time they had no concept of context, the AI one would oftentimes be more faulty because it tried to infer context, which I think is really kind of a cool idea. The idea that, like, of a machine learning algorithm trying to, like, figure out the context of what's going on, you know, based on the information. Because one of the things that Mato noted in the book is that a lot of what trips the machine learning or the translate algorithms up is the fact that video games use a lot of terms like mythological terms or fantasy terms that Google wouldn't expect to see in search histories. So as a result, apparently a lot of the results had stuff relating to like medical terms and industrial terms. I thought that was kind of interesting. Anyway, I'm talking an awful lot about this just to say that I think it's really cool that to find out information about like how games like this, games that use a lot of fancy terms, fancy mythological terms and stuff like that, like the difficulties that you go through with that. One of the other things that was mentioned on that website was the idea that like even just basic context, like knowing the context of a scene, is also something a lot of translators don't have. Usually they just kind of get like a text file of all the information, and it's just sort of like translate this whole text file. And so and from what I understand, also, again, I don't speak Japanese, but there is a lot of like Japanese is a very context sensitive language, meaning that like if you don't know, for example, like I think one thing, for example, is that they don't use pronouns very much, and oftentimes the subject of a statement is implied based on who is talking. So instead of saying you, like if I were talking to a second party and I was going to say like, you go over there and get that for me, you wouldn't say you because it's obvious you're talking to another person. You would just sort of say like, get that for me. And so if you're in a situation where you're trying to like translate that but you don't know who's talking, then it's pretty hard. So I don't know, that's an interesting thing. Anyway, all that aside, I've just been talking because as I was getting back out of the lowest section of the castle. I think next, let's see, where do we have to go? Oh, we never went down there. I wonder if that's down there. Before we head up, let's go and see the other ferryman and get our second boat ride, because I don't want to forget to do that, because I'm curious. Like part of the reason I want to do it is because I really don't know what is down there. Like I've played a bit of Maria mode, but as I had mentioned before, I didn't know that there was any value to having her fight, you know, the various monsters, and so I just like bum rushed and then eventually got to a place I couldn't beat, and I was just like, well, this is cool. I'm done though. So I don't know. Is he going to be down here? Are you here? He is not here. So yeah, that's another room that you cannot get as Maria because you need a relic to access it. Interesting. So now you know something and I know something. Together we know the same thing. It's amazing. What was I talking about? Translation stuff. Blah, blah, blah. Whatever. Oh yeah, I was going to say, let's see. Where do we want to go next? Let's go to... where should we go next? Let's go to the outer wall next. And then we can head on to the Long Library, which I always thought was a very silly name. The Long Library! It's so long! It's the longest library! What's funny, too, is that I don't think it's intentional, but, so I went to my undergraduate college in Louisiana. I went to Louisiana State University. And if you do not know, which I would not expect you to if you're not from there, there was a very famous statesman in Louisiana named Huey P. Long. Opinion is somewhat divided about the guy. Some people think he did a really good job. Other people think he was a crook. So there you go. Both may be true, but for whatever it's worth, there are several like structures named for Huey P. Long. And so when I first saw the Long Library, my first thought was like, oh, hey, it's a library in Dracula's castle named after a statesman from Louisiana. That's pretty cool. Die. I don't think that's right, though. I guess the idea is that it's long in the sense that it's a long distance, but that seems so strange. Seems like such an odd idea to name something the Long Library. It's long. So, whatever. We're gonna go there, though. That'll be the next place. Next place on Maria's adventure through the Dark Castle. Yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time going to Dracula's Castle. It is kind of cool to play this game in this way, though. Like, so, obviously, with a lot of these exploration platformer Castlevania games, actually, I'll just call them exploration-focused Castlevania games, because it's a little bit easier to say. Hello, Amphisbaena. Amphisbaena, Amphisbaena, I'm going to kick you in the face. You're dead now. You're dead. With a lot of these games, there's like there's a bonus mode after the fact that allows you to play as some other character. In this one, it was Richter and Maria. In Aria of Sorrow, it was Julius mode. In Portrait of Ruin, you could play as Richter and Child Maria. So there's a long history of doing it. And to be perfectly honest, I usually didn't. Like, I'm not super excited about challenge modes for the most part. And so I usually wouldn't go through. I think the one of those that I got the farthest in was Richter and Maria, and it's mostly just because I like Portrait of Ruin a lot. That's one of my favorite, if not my favorite, exploration Castlevania. Like, if there was some way... Oh, the outer wall. If there was some way to have Portrait of Ruin on a console, that would really make my day. I wish there was some means to release the games on a console, but sadly no, because they make use of the DS features. Okay, as a side note, did you guys know about this? Let's see. Wait. Wait for it. Wait for it. Hang on, when's it gonna happen? Is it gonna happen? Okay, maybe it doesn't happen for Maria. So in Alucard's, in the main game for Alucard, there's a secret passage here. If you stand here for a little bit, you'll just kind of like lower into the room below you, and it's like a secret way. And I guess it's probably deactivated because the room that you come out is the one that is closed off by this barred gate. So maybe they didn't want to like trap you, I guess. That may be it. Although you could just take the elevator back up. So you take the elevator up, close the gate, and all that. Wonder if she can see the ferryman. Does this work? Does this work? Do you work? Nope. Nope. Really, all events are cancelled with Maria. So, nothing. She cannot figure out how a telescope works. She doesn't know. She never had to use one. So there you go. Yeah, if there was some way to have Portrait of Ruin on a console, man, I'd love it. Because I think the last handheld system that I really liked was the Game Boy Color, really. I had a Game Boy Advance, and I played a lot of it, but I never really liked the screen very much. I didn't have an SP, so it wasn't backlit. And I don't know, there's something about the DS I've never liked, and the 3DS is basically the same. Like, now that the Switch is out, I kind of like the Switch, although I still primarily use it in docked mode. So, there you go. I don't know. And so as a result of that, I hate that so many of the exploration Castlevania games are handheld exclusive. You know, it's like you can't play them on anything else. It's so frustrating. At best, you could play the Game Boy Advance ones on the Game Boy Advance player, but Portrait of Ruin, I gotta always play it on the DS. And that sucks for me. Sucks for me. So we are going to finish this episode off by fighting the Doppelganger. And hopefully I will be able to defeat the Doppelganger. I think I probably should be able to, considering I already beat Granfaloon, and this is a much earlier fight, but we'll see. Now loading. It would be cool if it was actually a doppelganger of Maria and not a doppelganger of Alucard, but I don't know. I don't know what to expect. Let's find out. Charging up my attack! Oh, took away my charge. Darn it. That's frustrating. Open. Open. In the mysterious... Oh, nope, it's Alucard. Hey, how you doing? Beam! Hey, how you doing? Beam! Hey, how you doing? Beako! Fwa! That worked really well. Alright, well, with that victory under our belt, we'll move on to the next episode. I am the MoeChicken. This is Castlevania Symphony of the Night. That was easy. Thanks for stopping by.